7:30, so our first item here is a presentation from Birdtown, Pennsylvania.
Hi, good evening. My name is Heidi Schreiber. I'm the president from Birdtown, Pennsylvania, and I have a presentation about our program tonight for you. Congratulations on being the 46th Birdtown program. Really excited for you guys to be involved.
Heidi, can you sit at the table? And I'm sorry, this, unlike the EAB meetings, these meetings are recorded, so you need to talk close to a mic, and you just turn it on by hitting the button in the center. And it turns, there you go.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. So again, hi, I'm Heidi Schreiber. I'm from Birdtown, Pennsylvania. I'm the president. Congratulations on being the 46th Birdtown. And I'm here this evening to tell you a little bit more about the program. Okay, next. This is our mission statement. Birdtown, Pennsylvania works in partnership with local municipalities like yourselves and like-minded organizations such as Audubon Chapter, the We Can Serve PA, and so on, to promote community-based conservation actions to create a healthier and more sustainable environment for birds, wildlife, and people. Next. So the program has been engaged with municipalities in the state for over 12 years, and there are 48 programs now across 9 counties. I actually got another application tonight, so it'll be 49 soon. We're owned by the Pennsylvania Audubon Council, and we're building partnerships with We Can Serve PA. We Can Serve PA runs the EAC, or Environmental Advisory Council, across the state, as well as the Trails program. We also work very closely with Audubon chapters and also Bird City Network. Next. This is the different municipalities and counties, and everyone listed here are especially highlighted under Montgomery County, where we have most of our bird towns located. Next. So a little bit about Pennsylvania Audubon Council. So there are 20 Audubon chapters in the state, and PA Audubon Council provides a place for them to come to share resources and ideas. We are an LLC, and we are under their umbrella. They are our fiscal agent. They're also a 501c3, so we're a charitable organization or nonprofit because of that status. And like I mentioned, we work with the Audubon Chapter Network to help establish bird towns across the state. Next. So why are we focusing on birds? Birds keep our ecosystems running smoothly. Birds eat anywhere from 400 to 500 tons of insects a year. They also help reduce diseases such as rabies, distemper, and plague by scavenging carcasses, like with crows and vultures. They also provide pollination services and disperse seeds. They also keep the mice and rat populations down. Birds bring us joy and beauty as well. I'm sure all of you have hopefully a very positive bird story to share, but they always are just amazing. It's incredible. I mean, just think about the beaks that they use to create a nest. I couldn't even begin to make a nest with my 2 hands, let alone a beak. Birds also help to let us know that the environment is healthy. They're especially sensitive to toxins and pollutants, so they're an early warning system to let us know that there's something wrong in the environment. And they're everywhere, and everyone's watching them. 45 million people watch birds across the United States, and they're spending $41 billion. But birds really need our help. If you look at the breeding bird surveys, they're showing that populations are declining anywhere from 30 to 77% since 1970, and the numbers are still falling. Next. So here's some examples. Grassland birds especially are being hit. Their populations are down by 53%. Because of loss of habitat. And then I included here the Baltimore Oriole as well, because they're migratory birds, so not only are they losing habitat here in our area in the United States, but also in the southern hemisphere as well. Next. But there are also success stories. We were just talking together about woodpeckers. Woodpeckers are improving, their populations are up by 18% because, for example, we have our ash trees, and those are providing a lot of homes and insects for them to eat, so their populations are doing very well. Next. So the major threats to bird populations, why are they declining? These are a number of reasons. So number one is loss of habitat. We have 10 million acres across the country between 82 and 97, obviously a lot more since then. There are 40 million acres of lawns. Cats are another problem. 2.4 billion birds are killed by cats a year, both feral and outdoor cats. Window collisions, 1 billion birds a year die per year for that. Pesticides, climate change. Climate change causes migration to be out of sync with food sources. Invasive species, replacing native plants which are needed for food, shelter, and nesting. And then finally plastics. Microplastics are everywhere. Next. So these are the actions we can do, though, to help birds, which is really encouraging and inspiring that we can actually make a difference. So by addressing outdoor and feral cats, making windows safe for both day and night, reducing lawn and planting natives, avoiding pesticides, actually drinking shade-grown coffee. That's a real thing. I just was a part of a workshop with Willistown Conservation Trust, And actually, coffee was always grown in the shade. So to actually increase profits and so on, they started growing it in the sun and ripping down a bunch of rainforest. So they're going back to the old practices of growing it in the shade, and that helps maintain habitat. And then also reducing plastics, and then just enjoying birds by going on walks and participating in community and citizen science programs. Okay, next. So we provide these resources to help accomplish these different actions to support birds. Like I mentioned, we're a statewide program. We provide concrete resources and achievable actions. We provide a framework for community networking, both with bird towns and other conservation partners. We do training and workshops for our bird town leaders, and we also obtain funding. Next. So this is what we do. We engage, we educate, we encourage, and support. And these are just a number of actions that a bird town can do. Anything from installing a demonstration native plant garden, supporting and running citizen science programs, reducing bird window strikes, and working with schools to engage and educate about these issues. But there's hundreds of actions one can take depending on the municipality. Next. So this is the welcome package. These are all the benefits of being part of the Bird Town program. You'll be receiving 2 signs today. We have 2 beautiful street signs that I'll be giving to you shortly. You'll then have access to the newsletter, our bi-monthly newsletter for leaders, as well as the quarterly Bird Beat community newsletter. Again, an invitation to the workshops. We have a workshop coming up in April about how pesticides negatively impact birds. Also, your municipality is listed on our website as well as on the Bird City Network website. You have access to the network contact list, and we really encourage you to include our information on your municipal website. And we have a press release too, so I really hope you'll use this opportunity we're going to take a picture tonight and put that on your website and let people know that you're a bird town. Okay, next. We have a beautiful website. It has lots of information, lots of resources that are available to your community members, information about backyard habitat programs and how they can be involved and so on. Next. Additional networking opportunities, like I've mentioned, the Bird Town Flyer, the Bird Beat. We also have a private Facebook page called the Bird Town Forum. This is a place where Bird Town leaders can share upcoming events and inspirational materials that they find. Next. These are our workshop series. Like I mentioned, we just had Saving Birds Through Coffee, Banding, and Land Conservation. April 11th is our Protecting Birds from Pesticides. We have another one coming up with Dark Skies Initiative from the state called Impact of Lights on Birds, Wildlife, and People. And you can see there's a number of other ones as well. So we have a really good list of workshops coming up for this year. All previous workshops are, we create a toolkit for them, and they're included on our Google Drive, so you can access all those as well. Next. Other important dates, we have our spring gathering coming up on March 14th. This is a chance for everyone to come together, do some brainstorming and planning, learn about some of the changes that are coming to the program. And then November 7th is when we do our annual summit, and this is when we come together and just rejoice and celebrate all the accomplishments that we had for the year. Okay, next. Bird Town Clutches. This is an opportunity for us to do regional networking. So we have 4 right now that's going to be growing as well. But this is a chance for bird towns to come together in person and talk about what they can do on a regional level. We just had 2 meetings, one for the Bucks group and also for Lehigh. And we came together and discussed what can be worked on. So we're really going to be focusing on bird window collision on a regional level, looking for places where materials can be demonstrated and have pamphlets as well for information for folks. Okay, next. This is what we recommend for you to put on your website. And so hopefully that will be happening. Any questions about that?
Just have a question on window strikes. I had
Sure.
a few birds hit my window this summer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Me too. It was pretty sad.
Oh.
Do you have a couple second PSA?
I do, actually. So a lot of folks think that bird window collisions happen on skyscrapers, right? Those are the ones that we always hear the most about. Only 10% of those window strikes are actually on skyscrapers. The rest are on homes and small businesses. So what you can do is there's lots of different kinds of materials that you can put on your windows on the outside, anywhere from small dots. They need to be 2 inches by 2 inches apart from one another. You can't just have a thing here, anything, like a little plaque here. You have to have them really 2 inches apart. So dots work really well. You can also hang just cords down over your window. There's lots of different, so if you go on our website, there's lots of information about what you can do to stop window strikes. I'm working with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service as well. They have a beautiful panel that for display, so we're hoping to print that out and make that available to all our bird towns to use for demonstration materials. Okay, sure. Okay, next.
Oh,
Oh, sure, go ahead.
sorry.
Ellen.
I also had bird strike
no.
window collision
I'm so sorry.
questions. No, no, no.
Okay.
Well, one was a robin who was attacking its
It's the image.
image
Yes.
repeatedly. Is that something that might be an opportunity to partner with our library to have a program for
Yes.
children to educate them and their families
Sure.
and have kind of a takeaway for them as window
Yes.
clings or things like that?
Absolutely. So that's a great place to actually demonstrate this different material. Like I was down at Forsyth Wildlife Center in New Jersey, and they had different demonstration materials in all their windows. You know, one with the dots, one with, you know, the ropes hanging down, another one with kaleidoscape. So a library is a great place because there's so many folks that come through that area. And then
Yes.
having some kind of takeaway, like you said, would be wonderful at the library.
And Dennis is back. Is there a plan already? I saw that you have a Birdtown table display
Yes.
to be at Horsham Day?
They did not go out yet.
Okay.
So they'll go out this week.
Okay.
Okay,
But
great.
I would love to see you guys at Horsham Day, and I think that might be
Sure.
another opportunity to educate the public about what you do. Thank
Oh,
you so
absolutely.
much.
Well, you guys are a bird town, so you actually have your EAB that will be doing that table.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so they have the
All right.
information, they have access to all the resources, so I'm happy to help them put that table together.
Wonderful. Thank
Okay,
you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Heidi.
My pleasure. Okay, just a couple more slides. These are our 6 strategy areas, so these are the 6 strategies that we want all bird towns to be working on, so they're not just focusing on bird walks or doing a table event. We really want them to be doing municipal actions, school district actions, doing community engagement, habitat enhancement, collaborating with different organizations, and also doing advocacy, writing articles, putting social media posts on, and so on. Next. And we're also a 4-tiered program. So you start at the green level, and then we work with you for the first year to move up to at least the bronze. So you're trying to accomplish at least one goal under in the 4 of the 6 different strategies. And then working up as you have the capacity to do that. Next. So again, congratulations on being the 46th bird town. I'm really looking forward to working with you, and I'm here to help you in any way. Any questions? Any questions?
Heidi, I did have, if you wanted to, I had your website up in case you wanted to take
Oh,
us
good. Oh,
around any
great. Thank you.
important.
Thank you, Bill. That's so thoughtful of you. So yeah, this is the website. If you want to page down a little bit.
No, I don't move fast, so you already know that.
I do, so slow down. So that's our mission. We have an online store, and then if you just go all the way down, it just gives all the information about the different things that we do. Okay, great. And at the very, very bottom, you can actually sign up for the Bird Beat, just a little bit lower, Bill, right there. It says get our newsletter. If you want to sign up for Bird Beat, you can go there and sign up for it. It just came out on yesterday, so it looks beautiful. I'm super proud of it. But if anyone would like a copy of it, I'm happy to forward it to you. The next one doesn't come out until April. Okay, if you could page back up. So at the very top, if you want to hit resources in the middle there, Bill, and if you hit threats to birds and just hover over that, you can see that these are all the resources that you can go. So let's look at bird window collision. So this is all the different sites that you can go to get more information about mitigating bird window collision. It gives you just a fun informational graphic there about what you can do. And then also talks about lights and birds. Lights can be very confusing for birds. You know, I was noticing actually at your industrial center over here, there's a lot of lights. It would be wonderful if there could be some discussion about how to, you know, change the color of the lights. It's, you know, it's white and blue. Blue and green light, it'd be great if it could be like a more yellow, pinkish light. I don't know if that would be possible, but lights are a huge problem, both for insects, bats, and birds. So anyway, there's lots of information to consider there. If you go back up to resources, and then go over threats to birds. And you can see, you can go page, there's information about cats and birds, pesticides, invasive plants, and so on. So it's just a wealth of information. If you go to citizen science, click on that. This is a really special page that we put together. We went through all the different citizen science programs to figure out which ones made the most sense to address for birds and protection of birds and insects. If you page down, Bill, you can get an idea of what that. So this is for bird monitoring projects like eBird, Celebrating Urban Birds, Project Feeder Watch. We're still in the middle of that right now. Nest Watch, which is a really great one we talked about with your EAB about putting up some nesting boxes and doing some monitoring with them using the Nest Watch program. Right now it's the Great Backyard Bird Count. That starts on Friday. It's super fun. You just monitor birds for 15 minutes and just give them the data to Cornell, and that will give them information about how your bird population is doing in your area. So as you can see, there's just lots of fun programming to do with your members to really engage them and get them doing these different actions that can really support bird populations. Okay, and then, let's see, if you hit blog, just hit, actually go on blog, just, touch that one. Bill, you're doing such a great job. Thank you so much. These are all the different articles that you can use. These are the articles that actually just came out with our bird beat, and you can use any of these in your newsletters as you wish, making sure that you acknowledge that it came from Birdtown and also the authors that wrote them. But we create these and write these for you to use in your townships and your municipalities to get the information out. So you're not having to write all this information out. So explore these, have some fun with them. There's lots of great information and great stories and articles in here. Okay. All right, Bill, you want to go back up? I think I get, let's go to the backyard habitat programs, and then we'll wrap it up. So these are the different backyard habitat programs. This is a way to engage homeowners, small homeowners, apartments, even rentals, properties, to be engaged in planting native plants to support insects and birds. These are all different programs that one can use to get that information and identify what's going on in their yard and how to improve it. Okay? So you can page down a little bit. There's a whole bunch of these. All right, any questions about the website or information that's available? No? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again on being number 46 for Birdtown. Really look forward to working with all of you, and thank you so much for your support. And also a huge shout out to Larry. He was really instrumental in making this happen, so thank you so much, Larry. Really enjoyed working with you. All right, if y'all don't mind either standing up and I can bring the signs over to you so we can take a picture, that'd be great.
Okay, picture time.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Shall we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, our first item is to announce that Horsham Township has been recognized for its exemplary achievement and leadership in minimizing property and liability losses. Mr. Gildea Walker.
So this is something that we like to pat ourselves on the back, and in the fall, we had a certificate of recognition for workers' compensation, and this one's for property and liability losses. And something that we have built into the culture of our township and with our staff and employees is safety. And we are members of the Delaware Valley Trust, and they ensure municipalities, boroughs, authorities, school districts, and counties across several states, primarily Pennsylvania, and we are in the top 3, and we are a repetitive award winner. We're the only ones that are repetitive of all the school districts and counties and municipalities that the trust insures. So this is something we like to inform our residents about, and the recognition that we receive. It's important to us that everybody that visits our facilities, travels on our roads, goes to our parks, walks on our trails, comes into our buildings, are safe. And we have a safety committee that meets once a month, but it's really the culture of the organization here and our staff of how important safety is to us. Yes, the better you do, the better rates you get, but the rates aren't what's important to us. It's the safety, that no one's injured on our property, no one's injured on our roads, no one's injured in our buildings. So we were once again recognized for that hard work and that culture that we have here in Horsham on very, very, very few. Well, basically, they're lawsuits what comes out of property and liability. So very few, and we're always in the top 3.
Thank you for that update, and congratulations to our staff on all their great work. Next is questions from the public. Do we have any questions or comments? Mr. Starr, step up to the mic.
Absolutely.
And give us your name.
You betcha. I'm hitting that in a second here. Oh my gosh. How about I raise myself up in here? Is there a secret?
Yep, right there.
There we go. Hi, Andy Starr, Horsham, PA.
Hope everybody had a nice Valentine's Day today. And for the sake of brevity, I'm going to read off of some prepared notes tonight. Let's see here. In December of 2023 at the council meeting, I started with a Rasmussen poll where 56% of respondents say cheating is likely during the elections in 2024. Today, I start with another Rasmussen poll where 1 in 5 mail-in voters admit to cheating in the 2020 election. In a self-governing system, there is nothing more sacred than a fair and accurate election, and anything but would constitute a dictatorship. Election officials, including the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, claimed that the introduction of voting machines and wide-open mail-in voting have produced the most secure elections ever. CISA even claimed that there, quote, there was no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was compromised in any way. But that just doesn't seem to be the case, and as the evidence mounts, it is becoming clear that federal, state, and possibly even county governments are involved in election interference and tampering. Maricopa County, Arizona, and Georgia have dominated the news with brazen election interference at the state and county levels, and we have all seen the video of Georgia election workers during the 2020 presidential election pulling suitcases full of ballots out from under tables after counting had concluded for the evening. In preparation for this meeting, I posted 2 videos on the Horsham Township Facebook under the announcement for tonight's meeting regarding the hacking of Dominion voting machines. The first showcased how easy and quickly the votes can be changed using several methods, including a simple insertion of a USB drive, and the second, how the adjudication of votes allows easy access to change vote totals. I hope you all take the opportunity to look at these. But for tonight's meeting, I have assembled a plethora of election issues, which I will describe in brief, but have included articles referenced for easy inspection, and I'll supply those after my comments. Election expert Professor J. Alex Holderman hacks a Dominion voting machine during federal court using a big pen. Professor Holderman then explains the use of malware hack that edits votes and is not traceable. Pennsylvania voting system standards specifically state that, quote, no components of the voting system shall be connected to any modem or network interface, including the internet, at any time except in a standalone wired local area network. No modems. Simple enough. Come to find out, though, that experts find nearly 3 dozen U.S. voting systems connected to the internet using hidden modems in Dominion voting machines. Next, in the Commonwealth Court of PA, Montgomery and Bucks County versus Veronica D. Gavin-Reed, it is averred the following at 6, paragraph 6. The election, quote, the election code vests each county board of elections with discretion to conduct elections and implement procedures intended to ensure the honesty, efficiency, and uniformity of Pennsylvania's elections. The election code should be liberally construed so as not to deprive elector of their right to elect a candidate of their choice. Next is the representatives of Fulton County, PA, ignored a court order to not inspect Dominion machines and hired an outside firm to forensically inspect 6 hard drives. Now, including in that inspection are the findings such as out-of-date security updates and hardening procedures, unsecured USB insertions, security breaches via added files, use of default passwords, scripts added after system certification, and an external Canadian IP address in the system. These representatives now face potential legal ramifications for ignoring a court order, even though they followed their responsibilities as codified in law. Smartmatic voting machines barred from Philippines elections, quote, in order to uphold the integrity of our electoral process, unquote. 25 Republican lawmakers sued Biden and Shapiro over who sets rules for elections. Election law is the responsibility of the legislatures only. Shapiro's announcement that Pennsylvanians would be registered to vote automatically when they conduct certain PennDOT transactions, such as renewing a driver's license. Previously, one had to opt in. These are just a sampling of how bad and untrustworthy our current election system is, and a complete erosion of confidence many feel. I had the opportunity to talk to Ms. Zunsky. Is that how you say your name? Ms. Zunsky?
No. Chunky?
Chunky? I do apologize. I had the opportunity to speak to you after my last council meeting in December, where she offered to teach me about adjudication. Ms. Chunky promptly regurgitated her Montgomery County Democratic Committee talking point that adjudication was only for write-in ballots. Included in the packet I will hand in tonight is the actual Dominion voting machine instruction manual that details how to change live votes during the adjudication process. Also, the video I posted on the Township Facebook page details how to change live votes when adjudicating, along with the potential for other nefarious changes. Ms. Chunky also informed me that the PA Supreme Court had allowed incorrectly dated ballots to be counted in direct conflict with state law. And due to this, certification of the election would take more time. The election law is unambiguous regarding how ballots must be signed and dated, as averred in Dave McCormick versus Lee Chapman. Yet, the activist PA Supreme Court ruled that, quote, that although failure to include a date in the voter declaration on the back of the ballot envelope constituted a technical violation of the election code, it did not warrant the resultant disenfranchisement of thousands of Pennsylvania voters, unquote. Well, what about the disenfranchisement of the hundreds of thousands of voters who follow the law, such as myself? As mentioned earlier, the courts do not have the authority to change law, only legislators. I initiated a right-to-know law request from Montgomery County Open Office Records for information regarding how many adjudicated votes were processed and how they were assigned. I was denied any information due to an irrelevant argument based on election code and voter registration information. My appeal sits in Harrisburg, and I have included this in the packet also. When a voting machine receives a scanned ballot, it can be either counted in full or kicked out for adjudication. Since these happen at the very same instance in the voting process, adjudicated votes should be public knowledge, no different than any other counted vote. The lack of transparency, even at the county level, is of epidemic proportions, reducing the credibility and trust in the voting system. And this will be a fight right through Harrisburg. Pennsylvania voting system standards requirements state the current voting system, quote, meet 21st century standards of security, accountability, and accessibility, unquote. As we can see, that is systemically untrue. As a matter of fact, the current voting systems have been weaponized, allowing unscrupulous actors to modify election results in order to forward a narrative. The issue regarding the supervisors in Fulton County who had to defy court orders shows that the system is no longer interested in what the voters choose, but that a predetermined outcome is the goal. This has completely undermined the integrity of our election system and the cornerstone of our republic. The continuously mounting and overwhelmingly evidence is clear to me and to many of the voting public that the voting system is corrupt and has lost all credibility. I'm almost done. Jefferson penned the following in the Declaration of Independence, that when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience have shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing in forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Therefore, due to many years of abuse via our election system and the resultant and utter lack of trust in the system, I hereby declare that I do not recognize Ms. Slaff or Ms. Chunky as legitimate members of this quorum. Nor do I recognize any law or resolution where both are the majority. This will remain in effect until a suitable and trustworthy election system is instituted in Horsham that once again instills confidence in our election system. I implore Township Council to use its power as granted by the people to petition Montgomery County, whether as a singularity or with other townships, to compel them to either change the voting system as described in law, quote, conduct elections and implement procedures intended to ensure the honesty, efficiency, and uniformity of Pennsylvania's elections, unquote, or to initiate a township voting system that will once again instill confidence in the voting public. Thank you.
Are you going to leave that packet with us?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Yes, sir.
I suggest a time limit for people speaking to council to 3 or 4 or 5 minutes?
Now, we're not
rather
going to
than
play a
20?
scoreboard game here.
Thank
This is way more important than that,
Thank you.
sir.
Okay, if there's no more questions or comments,
I have one thing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Obviously, it took a lot of time, so I respect that amount of research. In any regards, that is impressive. My name is Alexander, or Evie, as my friends like to call me and my parents. I'm interested in starting a LLC for working with parks to build pump tracks and cycling type of things. I just do not have much experience working with larger groups. I've had plenty of time spent with private individuals. I've worked with trail builders at Bear Creek Mountain Resort, prepping for Mass Enduro Series races. I've worked with some of the guys to do some of the cyclocross events, even right here across the street. And I either wanted to make an introduction or just gain a little bit of wisdom, because I have plenty of free time and would like to do this ongoing and make something good for the community and kids and athletes alike, something that maybe even can work with like the Bird Town group and make something beautiful, not just like a concrete skate park, something that it mixes trees and agriculture, something that's multidisciplinary, that lets everyone get their hands dirty and have fun. So.
Alexander, you said EV?
EEVEE, or Sunshine Alexander.
Is Alexander your last name?
Roland is my last name. That's my dad. You guys know him.
Sorry.
Evie.
You said-
EEVEE.
Sure. And
Yes.
Roland?
Roland.
Roland, sorry.
ROWLAND. No, it's
Thank
okay.
you. And you said you participated in the
I've done-
Carpenter Cross?
Yeah, I've done
Awesome.
the Carpenter Cross. It was wonderful. It
Yeah.
was a bit and
A little
messy
rainy
and
this
muddy,
year,
and I got
yeah.
my little brother
But
to do
that's
it.
fun, yeah.
You should have seen the picture of him. He was dreading the experience. He
I was
looked
there,
miserable.
Not on a bike with an umbrella, but it was a great day. So thank you for participating.
Yeah.
So are you already in touch? about
No.
this, or
No,
this is
no.
new. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
brand new. I just.
So-
This is exciting.
Yeah.
I would suggest you give Dennis a call. So
Nice to meet you.
Dennis actually is the coordinator for the Carpenter Cross, and I also know that he personally is a bike rider on pump tracks and stuff like that. So I also know Upper Dublin. I don't know if they've opened theirs, but Upper Dublin's they just recently opened a pump track. Is that
No.
what it's called?
Not their pump track. No, it's just single track,
Oh, okay.
mountain
okay.
bike trails. Pump
Yeah.
track's coming.
Okay, but they're building one.
Yes.
So Upper Dublin, they're the former Twining Valley Golf Course in Upper Dublin.
Yeah, I've heard about the
Yeah.
golf course development. I'm
And that's not to-
involved. I
that's-
don't know what it exactly.
That's not
they're
meant
doing.
for you to not call Dennis. That's just meant FYI.
Yeah, it's
that
an
Upper
interesting.
Dublin
That I
is
love what
doing
they
it,
did
so-
there. Yeah.
But I would give Dennis a call and set up a meeting with Dennis and talk things and talk about your ideas and what you have in mind.
Yeah, like I recently worked over the summer with the Philly Pump Track and rebuilt their children's Strider line, which is 2-year-olds to 4-year-olds, and the bumps are like the size of those plastic jumps. And then we rebuilt like the men's line, and there was people doing backflips, and then there was like kids on their Walmart bikes, or the Philly Pump Track's interesting because they are a nonprofit organization that does community outreach and hosts events. they're interesting. I wish I could present something specifically on them. They did a lot for the area.
Okay. Yep. I would give Dennis a call.
I would love to.
We'll share swap information after the meeting.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for coming out and being engaged in our community and looking for things to come out.
Thank you.
My name's Andy Johnson. I've been a committee man for 25 years, maybe longer. I want to know when Montgomery and Bucks became a sanctuary community. When did that happen? I mean, I was just notified this about 3-4 weeks ago at Wawa, where I'm at in the morning. I do all my communications over there. But it was given to me an article that it was listing of sanctuary communities within the state of Pennsylvania, and Montgomery and Bucks County were two of them, which was eye-opening to me because I had no idea that we were participating in that, and we've never had a vote on that, or nobody's ever talked about that, but all of a sudden now we're there. The lady that took Todd Stevens' job down the road there, I stopped in and she said that had nothing to do, well, the only thing that put us in the league with was with ICE. If the local police had picked up somebody on a warrant from ICE, that they didn't have to hold them for ICE. That was the explanation I got from that. But a sanctuary city, we have housing and stuff that I've heard that they've been eyeing up as far as the air base goes, and Johnsville or Jacksonville Road over there, that open area over there, that concerns me. And what concerns me the most is everybody I've ever mentioned this to had no idea that we were part of a sanctuary thing like Philadelphia. And I'd like to know when we became that. Somebody said something like 2014. I doubt that very much. I would have heard about that from that, by then. But nobody's heard of this, yet it was in an article. It was online that we are. So who knows anything about that?
I hope I can sort of make you more comfortable that we have gotten no government official notice from the federal government, from the state government, or from the county government that Horsham Township is part of a sanctuary city or program.
Saying Montgomery as a whole.
I'm
Bucks as a whole.
I'm just answering your question.
I understand what you're saying. I talked to Scott, the police chief, and he's going to look into it too.
And I'll look into it too, just to make sure. But we've gotten, in that situation, we would get official notification if something that concerned our community, our township, local government, our police department. We would get notification.
It's very concerning.
And
when I heard about it,
so
I'm like, I was flat-footed.
We'll look into it. We will definitely look into it. But we get communication all the time from the other levels of government on various matters, and we've received no notification that Horsham Township, the Montgomery County government, I'm not saying they are or they're not, but county government is different than the local government. Mm-hmm. So, and we have different jurisdictions and different authorities as different levels of government. So, we at Horsham Township, again, we've not adopted anything. We have not agreed to anything. We've not been notified by any other government agency that that we are part of a sanctuary area. So, but we'll look into it. We'll look into it.
I appreciate that. I'd like to find out when this was brought into effect, if it's something that was on a state paper that said that Montgomery and Bucks County was on this. And I'm sure several of you have probably never heard it either, because I've been in this for 50 years. I mean, I've been in Horsham for 50 years, and I've never, and somebody just walked into Wawa and said, I think you'll be interested in this. And they showed me this paper. And a couple other people looked it up,
I didn't even look it up because it just had the paper there. And, but it was concerning, so like I said, I went to the police chief. I was going to come into you too, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I figured now would be the time to bring it to, to a point here that I'm not in favor of this whatsoever, kind of ticked me off. So.
Well, before, again, it could, we'll look into it, but, we deal with county government and the commissioner's office all the time. We deal with Harrisburg. We deal with Washington a lot. We talk with the Navy and DOD and our federal delegation on a weekly basis.
And nobody's ever said anything to you, yeah?
Nothing. So.
Indication at all.
Yeah, I know, it's like, so I can't, that's why I'm trying to get the facts of this thing here, and I figured this would be a good time to bring this up, so everybody can look into this. So, that's all I have to say. I think Horsham's great, and I want it to continue that way.
And we will.
Okay.
So we'll look into it.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions, comments? Yes, sir.
This is my first Horsham meeting. I don't know anyone here, so that's pretty good.
We do need to find out who you are, just for the meeting minutes.
All right.
Move a little closer
Sir.
to the mic, sir, please.
And we need your name for the record.
Oh, yeah, the record. Greg Flynn, resident of Horsham Township. First of all, I do want to congratulate you, because I have been on your side of the banister there. That Delaware Valley Trust, that's a big accomplishment. That's more than people can really understand. It is huge. And to keep that and to have that is a pretty nice thing. And I just want to give you my congratulations on that. But I really didn't have any questions, and then I just heard this gentleman. And we all hear what's going on in the news nationally, internationally, whatever. And I guess locally, Philly and wherever it is, around the states. Something like this comes up, I would think it'd be pretty imperative to figure out where we're at. Because if it's a rumor, sometimes rumors aren't rumors. So I think in-depth question whether we're in or we're out or what jurisdictions. But, the other thing is I've been around government a little bit. Never worked for it, thank goodness. But anyhow, I think it's important to know that start setting up some ideas and parameters of how you react, what you're thinking about, whatever. And, a lot of times they throw stuff at you, and you do have an option to opt in or opt out. And I think that's part of a pretty investigative tool, should something like that happen, to understand that you do have an option to opt in or opt out. And I think it would become everybody now that this, if it's online, I guess it's everywhere. But the thing, and maybe it's not, but the point is, I think it'd become everybody on that side of the banister to really start thinking about, is this real, is it not real? How long, my eyes are pretty good, I just had them, whatever. But the thing is, town manager, I think, to find out the answers to where we are and where we stand, because if this is starting to go around, kind of a bad thing to go around without having answers. So I would kind of recommend or behoove or ask that we get on it and find out where we stand. And, hopefully we don't need to find out where everybody behind this banister stands. So if we're out, or if something like that comes up and we can opt in or opt out, it'd be nice to know that. And a lot of crazy stuff going on. And I assume we don't have any illegals, well, maybe we don't know, any illegals here now in any kind of capacity or volume or whatever. So I don't know anything about that. But I didn't have anything to say. I was just going to kind of, and then I heard this, and I'm like, be nice to get ahead of it a little bit so these rumors are either quelled or if it's something that's coming down the road in 6 months or a year or 2 years or 2 days, it'd be nice to know. That's all. Thank you.
I would just like to chime in, and according to the last individual who spoke, you talked to Representative Melissa Serrato, who is our representative in the 151. If Montgomery and Bucks are sanctuary cities, that's a bigger rate. That's not Horsham. I mean, obviously we're in Montgomery. But if the question is whether or not the base is getting used for housing as part of this, I think that Mr. Gildea Walker was pretty clear that we're in communication heavily with all of our government entities around us, and that has not been stated to us, and we would have heard if they were going to use a location within Horsham for any purposes of that nature.
Well, you hope you would be heard. I mean, you don't know.
But there's other rumors going on too, that the illegal aliens are going into the rentals in Horsham right now too, that they're starting to populate the rentals in this area. So that's another thing that I have to look into too, which I will look into.
Listen, no one, I'm sorry. No, it's, go ahead. All I can say is, we're starting to bandy around right now. And the issue is, it's pretty simple. You call up the county commissioners. Are you headed this way? It's that simple. And, then you start finding out the rules and the regs or whatever, and they're like, no. Okay, well, let's hear who we heard it from and put them on the record that it doesn't exist, it's not coming, and that's fine. End it. Or if it's something more, tell us it's coming down the road in 18 months or 18 days. I don't know. I hope it's nothing. But, that's all I have to say. I think it's a lot simpler to find out than not find out. And I know when you just sit here and wait, and then you start to get talk or whatever, that's no good either. It just isn't. So, for all we know, one of our schools is going to be emptied after what I heard in New York a couple weeks ago. Crumb. Why don't we find out right now? All you got to do is count the county commissioners, and then you just tell them you're opting in or you're opting out. See what those consequences are. But I think it's important now. Wow, I just came for a little meeting. The thing is, I think it's pretty important now to get it nipped and find out and report back, this gentleman, these people, what's going on. That's
And
all. Thanks.
we will definitely do that.
All right.
We
Well,
also,
then I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make it a point. When would you like me to call you?
next week.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more? The next item would be to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next item would be the treasurer's report.
The balance in the general fund as of January 31st, 2024 is $2,985,063.65. Expenditures in the general fund reflect normal activity for January. We continue to monitor our expected decrease in revenue. As an example, this month's balance is $1,027,534 less than in 2023. For a more detailed presentation of our current financial position, I would refer you to your monthly booklet.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion to pay the bills?
Just 2 comments on the bills before you vote on the checks. So the street pedestrian lamp, the first bill of $503,370 is in your checklist this evening. So that's why it's a little higher than normal. That's the street pedestrian lamp project in our office park. That project is moving forward, and that is also a state grant. So we have to put the money out first, and then the state will reimburse us in that amount of money. The second comment on the list of checks is we continue to do our HERF, which is our Hurricane Ida Relief Fund, from the tornado in September of 2021. We've had 6 properties on your checklist this evening for a total of $16,021. So to date, after tonight, we have assisted 155 property owners in Horsham Township that were affected by the tornado, to the amount of $444,917.97.
Okay, thank you for that.
I move to ratify the list of checks in the general fund in the amount of $16,174.53, and further move to authorize payment of the same. I move to approve the list of checks in all funds in the amount of $1,047,825.90, and further move to authorize payment of same. And I move to ratify the U.S. Bank credit card transactions for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $32,327.69.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let's have it. Next, we have to consider the following appointment, Horsham Water and Sewer Authority, a 5-year term.
I move to appoint William Gallagher to the Horsham Water and Sewer Authority for a term ending on December 31st, 2028.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next is to consider change order number 1 to Scott Contractors, Inc. for the signalization at Easton Road and Westmoreland Avenue. Mr. Gildea Walker.
So, as council knows, this is a contract that Horsham Township is jointly with MIRIA, the Military Installation, Remediation, and Infrastructure Authority, for the improvements to the Westmoreland and Easton Road intersection. And what PennDOT has identified is the controller, the traffic signal controllers along Easton Road are outdated. They're no longer manufactured and no longer can be serviced. So the question becomes, do we go try to find one of those old servers and put it in this new control box and then have 6 other signals along Easton Road that cannot communicate with each other nor this new signal? So what PennDOT suggested was that we upgrade our controllers not only at this new traffic signal, but also 6 others along Easton Road. So they will have controllers in them that are your most updated with technology. The signals could talk to each other to better move traffic along 611, and they would be able to be serviced when they malfunction. So the cost of that is $80,000 for the new intersection plus 6 others for a total of 7 intersections. MIRIA is actually funding the project. MIRIA does have the funding, additional funding available for the project, the $80,000. The MIRIA board has approved this change order, so it's in front of you tonight as part of the contract for this job for your consideration tonight, change order number 1.
So do we have a motion?
I move to approve the change order number 1 to the Horsham Township MIRIA contract with Scott Construction regarding the Westmoreland Avenue and Easton Road intersection improvement project, serving to upgrade the controller unit at the intersection and at 6 other signaled intersections along Easton Road and/or on Horsham Road, thereby increasing the contract amount to approximately $80,000, and serving to aid efforts of the future redevelopment of the future NAS JRB Willow Grove property.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next is the consider the results of the following bid. Signal modernization at Drescher Road and Sawmill Lane, new road project.
So we got 4 bids for this project. Carr and Duff came in at $641,674.80. T. Schieffer Contractors Incorporated came in at $546,984.25. Lenny Electric Corporation came in at $520,434.65, and Armor and Sons Electric Incorporated came in at $502,150. The staff recommendation for your consideration this evening is Armor and Sons Electric being the lowest responsible bidder.
We have a motion.
I move to award the signal modernization at Drescher Road and Sawmill Lane / New Road project bid to Armor and Sons Electric, Inc. in the amount of $502,150 and hereby authorize execution of the contract for the same.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have authorization for the solicitation of the following bids: paving, milling, line painting, and ADA ramps.
Council sees this normally this time of year. This is for our summer paving program. The paving is for the private side. We split the paving in Horsham. Our Public Works Department does part of the paving themselves, and the other part we contract out to a private company. So that's what the paving is. The milling is for the township job, paving job. Line painting is throughout the township, and the ADA ramps are part of the overall paving project for 2024.
I move to authorize the solicitation of bids for paving, milling, line painting, and ADA ramps, and further authorize advertisement of the same.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we need to consider our annual Horsham Day fireworks contract.
The contract in front of you this evening is with Celebration Fireworks, Inc. This is the company we've used for well over a decade in Horsham for the Horsham Day fireworks. This year's contract amount is $19,950. That amount is not covered by the general fund, which is real estate taxes. We bring in funds, we fundraise and bring in donations and contributions from private businesses and companies, and that covers the cost of the fireworks.
Do we have a motion?
I move to authorize the agreement with Celebration Fireworks, Inc. in the amount of $19,950 for a firework display at Horsham Day.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next is to consider a resolution establishing a time and place for a public hearing on the Payon Brothers Horsham LLC 726 Norristown Road conditional use application 24-02-CU for Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. in this auditorium at 1025 Horsham Road, Horsham, Pennsylvania.
Tonight, you're just establishing the public hearing date, but what this application is about is these are the townhomes that received preliminary land development approval last year in the Maple Glen section of Horsham Township. They need conditional use approval for a sewer line, a recreational trail, and a fence in our riparian corridor zones of the property, and that's what the application is for.
Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution as proposed, establishing a time and place for a public hearing on the Payon Brothers Horsham LLC 726 Norristown Road conditional use application Wednesday, March 13th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. in the Horsham Township Municipal Building.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. This is roll call vote. Mr. Walker?
Ms. Harmon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Slaff, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Wade, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Chunky, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mr. Whiteside, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All righty. If there's no further business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Meeting adjourned.